Moving from renter to owner. The real culprit isn't the market or even your finances. It might be your mindset.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
So we're excited to welcome you to another episode of Life's Inside Track. And I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ken Dekker.
And it's where we get to share techniques, thoughts, tips, tools, and tactics, and some stories that we all need. We all deserve. You, I, everyone. So we can turn our house into home, our families thrive, and we build wealth wisely through real estate. Ken, this is quite fun because this month is all about becoming. And I think in the past, I would have said, if I could afford it, if I have my money all lined up, then of course I can move from being a renter to an owner.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're saying, you know what? There might be a bit more to it than that. And our experience would tell us that there is a ton more to it.
Oh, yeah.
We just haven't always articulated it.
Right. In this segment, we're going to talk about the mindset of changing from a renter's mindset to an owner's mindset. And it's quite fascinating. You know, we rented, of course, when we first got married.
What do you mean, of course? Some people move straight. We've helped some great clients that move straight from mommy and daddy's house, right? Or straight from student housing, which isn't really renting if you're living on residence, kind of, but not really, straight into their own home. Okay. So it's not of course.
Well, for me, it was common. Of course, because we were 19 years old, 20 years old, right? We turned 20 on the honeymoon. So to have the funds, and our parents weren't wealthy. They couldn't just, here's $100,000 for a down payment for your wedding gift. That's not our parents. We started from humble beginnings, and so did they.
Right.
And I think many, many people are in the same situation. So that's why I said, of course. But, maybe you're blessed and you've got a hand up for your first home. But if you're renting, and you might have been renting for, a year, 5 years, 10 years. There was a point, and I think it was about 3 years in, I started calculating. Do you remember?
Yeah.
How much we'd paid to date since we started renting, and it upset me.
Right. Except, we go back to mindset because we're saying, what kind of mindset do we need? Well, my mindset at the time was, well, sure, you did that math and it was a lot of money. But do you remember what I said to you? I said, yeah, but we would have given all that money to the bank anyway.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
And so the reality is my mindset is that whether the money went to the bank or whether the money went to a landlord, it was leaving my possession anyway. Now, that's not actually true exactly quite like that. And yet that was my belief. So the reason we thought, and we were so excited about this segment, is because maybe you're like me, maybe you're like Ken was, and we had different ideas that actually stopped us from moving forward any quicker than we did.
Yeah. Yeah, but, and so we were delayed a little bit.
Yeah.
But some people are being delayed 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We've helped people in their 50s buy their first home, right?
60s.
60s as well. Yes, you're right. And the point here is, home ownership may not be for every single person. Mm-hmm. Like for some, renting is what is right for them. But know that if you want to rent, like if you feel you're stuck,
so you want to own, not rent.
Yeah, you're stuck in the basement of your parents' house, or you've been renting for years and the money's going and it's not going into your bank account or not going into your equity in your home, and you're frustrated with that.
Right. So if we're saying that the status quo, renting is no longer a viable option, not for you anyway, then what gets to shift? Possibly what I just talked about is that the money's going out, but where's it really going?
Yeah.
Right? Whereas you're paying down, even when interest rates were a little higher, you're paying a little less of your mortgage down, but you're still paying some of your mortgage down.
Yeah.
And so therefore you've got, I'm going to call it forced savings, but you have savings going on. Over time, real estate property goes up. Maybe in a short period of time it doesn't. So we can have a discussion about the history of Ottawa and its real estate fluctuations. And yet, for the most part, Ottawa is about as stable a market as anyone is going to find anywhere in the world. Absolutely. We're kind of blessed, not kind of. We are incredibly blessed, and so are you if you're in the Ottawa capital region, right? The capital region.
So I think what we're trying to say is it starts with your belief. And sometimes your belief may be renting is cheaper than owning.
Right.
Renting is easier. Ownership has more responsibility, more problems associated with it when something breaks. And you're probably right. The point is, is your mindset of one that saves for contingencies, like when the furnace does need service or does need replacement? Like we say they're accidents, surprises. But we know the general life cycle. Maybe it shortened it. It died a little earlier. We know the life cycle of shingles. And we know when you buy a house, you'll get an estimate of how long's left in different things. And so it's budgeting. Are you a budgeter or are you a spender?
Or maybe your belief is I'm no good with money. I haven't been able to say when I was a kid, I spent everything I earned in my part-time job. So how on earth am I going to do this? And yet you can shift habits. You're not a kid anymore. So the things of childhood can be gone and the behavior of today can now be before you. And so they're two different things then and now.
Yeah.
If you choose it to be, and only if you choose it to be.
Yep. You might have a mental block that says, I'm not made of the cloth of somebody that owns a house. I'm not wealthy enough, or I'm not lucky enough.
Yeah. And sometimes people even say I'm not worthy.
Yeah,
that one is a whole segment of itself. It could be that the environment that you have found yourself in, it just nobody in your family's ever owned.
That could be.
Right? And so that is a mindset belief. So reframing our belief system, your belief system, may be what it takes. I had to reframe my belief around that the money was going out the door anyway.
Yeah, and sometimes a quick clarity call with us. You just jump on the phone with us and we'll have a quick discussion with you. A block may show up in that quick call, or maybe we need to have an appointment after that call. But you can call us at 613-867-6058. If I don't answer, leave me a message. I attempt to get back every day, but not always do I get back to messages every day.
You know, it's interesting as you're on that. I'm thinking what I'm going to encourage you to do. The point of this show is for you to get clarity. Yes, give us a call for a clarity call. We'll flush out some things with you. But right now, grab a pen, maybe not if you're driving, but grab a pen, write down what those real beliefs are that you're holding on to that you think might. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but you think they might be getting in your way of moving into home ownership, if that's what you're looking for. And it could be that they're stopping you from moving up to the next house. Like there's so many different beliefs that could be going on. So this really is a show that is applicable regardless of whether this is your first house or your second house. But that whole renting mindset is probably a tougher one to overhaul.
All right, that's great. And so in our next section, we're going to talk about the shift of moving from a renter to an owner. And we're just delighted that we're here positioning you to build wealth wisely through real estate, because it's about much more than just money.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving